John Gill, Haggai 2, verse 3. Scripture quote, "Who is left among you that saw this house in her first glory?" Unquote. John Gill, not taken away by death, yet alive, and dwelling among them, and who lived before the destruction of the first temple, built by Solomon, and has seen it in all its magnificency, its grandeur and noble structure, its stately pillars, its carved works, and decorations of gold. This shows that it was not in the times of Darius Notus, that's Nothus, but in Darius it's Hystaspis, that Haggai prophesied, "Those who go by the former way make these men to have lived nearly 200 years at least, which was greatly beyond the common time of man's life in that age." Or consider these words as a mere supposition that, if they were or had been such persons then living, this building in comparison of the former must have appeared mean and contemptible unto them. But the words manifestly imply that there were persons among them then living who had seen Solomon's temple in all its glory, and who are particularly and personally addressed in the following clauses, and of which there might be several at this time, going the latter way. For the 70 years' captivity are to be reckoned from the 4th year of Joachim, that's Jehoiakim, in which the captivity began, and which was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar. Jeremiah 25, verse 1. But it was not until the 90th year of his reign that the temple was burnt by him. Jeremiah 25, verse 12. And the time of Haggai's prophesying being about 17 or 18 years after the proclamation of Cyrus, when the 70 years captivity ended. This shows that it was scarcely 70 years from the time the temple was destroyed, and therefore it may be reasonably supposed there were several ancient persons living that could remember to have seen it, and it is certain that there were a great number of such living that returned from Babylon, who wept when they saw the foundation of the second temple laid, which was but 15 years before this. Ezra 3:12. Some of whom in all probability were now alive, yea, it is certain they were, to whom the following questions were put. Scripture quote, "And how do you see it now?" Unquote. Is not this that is building very different from that? Does it promise anything like it? What ideas have you of it? Can you conceive it in your minds that it will ever rise up to such grandeur and stateliness as the former? What is your judgment and what your sentiments concerning it? Can you think of it with equal delight and pleasure as of the former? Scripture quote, "Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing?" Unquote. Do not you think that it is not to be mentioned or once named in comparison to the former temple? Or that a man had as good say nothing at all as to attempt a comparison of them, or that this building and nothing are alike, and that the one is a non-entity as well as the other, comparatively speaking, when set in competition with the first temple, and are you of opinion that the people had as good do nothing, and that in effect they are not doing nothing, and all their labor lost, who are working in this house? No answer is returned, nor any waited for, but it is as if the Lord had said, "I, who am the omniscient God, the discerner of thoughts of men, know that these are your sentiments, and these the reasonings of your minds, and but now least discovering these thoughts of theirs, and speaking out their minds freely as they might, they would tend to discourage the governors and the people in carrying on the work they had engaged in. The Lord by the prophet says to them as follows." And of John Gill, Haggai 2:3.